You're young, you got a job you like, in the city that you like, maybe you even saved a little money, and the next thing you know, you're fighting for your life to find an apartment. And I'm here to tell you that you're being screwed by the system.
This is What the Fuck America. It's politics for cool people and culture for smart people.
I'm Grace Weinstein, and before we talk to a politician who's trying to fix all this mess, let me tell you how I got there. My eyebrow really started to raise when my rent did. Like, they tried to bump it 33% from the time I moved into my apartment. It was like, absolutely not. So I came face to face with the two-headed monster that is hidden fees and a housing shortage. A one-bedroom apartment in Manhattan, the median price is $4,200. Like, take this one, for example, with this Harry Potter living under the stairs ass living room, $4,200. Assuming you beat out the 13 other girls in some variation of aloe sets who are boxing you out at this open house that you literally had to take off time from work to go to, you are staring in the face a $7,500 fee for a broker that you probably didn't even speak to on top of your already egregious rent. Though that feature is mostly unique to New York, the housing affordability problem is absolutely nationwide. Send a little prayer for me right now because I'm about to bullet train my way through an explanation of why we're in this situation. This is just an overview, so feel free to add anything that you think I missed in the comments. Please be my guest. Okay, remember the Great Recession? You probably don't. And I'm not even really sure I do, but obviously I've read about it, so it's fine, whatever. We did not build enough housing in the period following that. Like millions and millions of homes short. So we got to look at basic supply and demand. When the supply is low, but the demand is high, the prices are high. And I'm like, oh my God, she's literally an economist today. It's amazing all the things I can do. Then the pandemic happens and the interest rates go super low. So sales are freaking gangbusters. Everybody's like, remote work. I'm going to live in the suburbs. I want to be in nature. It's like trading spaces across the nation everywhere. Then we have supply chain inflation, bus, club, interest rates, plain, no sales. And that's a big part of why everyone's so sour on the economy all the time. So what that's left us with is pain by numbers. It's one thing, when the price of your home goes up and your wages go up too. But between 2019 and 2022, housing prices increased by 43%, while wages only increased by 7%. In a UNLV study, 7 out of 10 of the most common jobs in Vegas do not pay enough to afford a studio apartment, literally the smallest apartment you can get. March 2023, there were 970,000 homes available on the market in the whole country, nationwide. There are 330 million people who live here. Where are they supposed to live, girl? And this is the problem because owners are staying in their homes longer because they don't want to give up their low interest rates. So renters who want to buy have no houses to move into. And then young people like me have no apartments to move into because they haven't moved out into the homes yet. So as Stevie Nicks said, you would never break the chain. But there is one politician who's like, bet. This is Ossé. He is the youngest person ever elected to New York City Council, and he's got a really interesting bill being put at the forefront of the housing debate in New York. So we went down to the City Council to see the glamour of local politics for ourselves. Okay, I absolutely needed to come talk to you. This is City Councilman Ossé, representing
Bed-Stuy, Crown Heights,
Beautiful.
Brooklyn, New York City.
I've been here trying to wrap my head around the fact that housing is so much more of a local issue than it is a federal one. You threw out this legislation. I need to hear the top line. What is it about? Why do people need to know about this?
So I introduced the FAIR Act, which stands for Fairness and Apartment Rental Expenses Act. And it would say that whoever hires a broker within the city of New York, whether landlord or tenant, pays the broker fee. 9 times out of 10, when you're a tenant looking for an apartment, you show up to your lease signing after finding the apartment on your own, and you're paying a broker fee ranging from 15 to 30% of your annual rent to a broker that your landlord hired. This bill would change all of that and save New Yorkers money. It's as basic as whatever you hire or order, you pay for, like every other transaction that exists in this country.
Yeah, it's so obvious. It's weird that this just doesn't apply to anything else.
And what's insane is that New York City and Boston are the only cities in the United States of America where this situation exists. So we're not even reinventing the wheel here.
Now taking this into the New York City at large, outside of your community, and having many people around the country watching because you've kind of exploded on TikTok.
Big money killed the bill.
How do you look at this bill and figure out what message you want to send and then translate that onto an app like TikTok?
Yeah, I see my part as my job as writing bills, voting on budgets, and another part of my job as directing that information to the people, especially through short form media. And it's easy, right? I've used the internet my entire life. My friends use TikTok. I know how people speak on TikTok. And thankfully, with the wonderful team that I have, we've been able to digest that. And also because of how easy and common sense the bill language it is, we were able to break it down for people to understand and to get them riled up about something that may affect their own lives.
Totally, and you have so much fun doing it. Like I'm scrolling there, and it's like, okay, it's you and Alana Glazer, like running around truly in the park. Do you have any fear of being cringe? Like I feel like definitely not, right?
Not cringe because
you're the
trust me,
appropriate age demo to not be.
Before I was a politician or activist or anything, I was a shit poster. So it really is just a core bone in my body that comes out with anything that I do.
How can other politicians learn? Do you think that's a learnable skill, actually?
No, I think it's either you have the juice or you don't. And I'm afraid to say that I think a lot of people in government are juiceless.
Yeah, but they should hire people that then have juice.
And they try to, right? But I think it's sometimes hard for them to still express that authenticity.
And a big part of that is you have this event or just day coming up on June 12th. Can you tell us what's going to go down and what your feelings are, where your head's at going into that?
On June 12th at 9 a.m., come to New York City Hall to testify against forced broker fees. Listen, New York City is one of the only cities where we're dealing with this. The real estate lobby is so powerful, and they've killed this bill in the past and bills like this in the past. If you want to save money and make sure that New York is as affordable as it could possibly be, we're asking people to show up, to testify, and to let the city council know that this bill needs to pass.
Can you tell us one more thing, a little bit what the hearing process is like?
Absolutely. So hearings are when the public can come and testify in support of a bill, against a bill, but it's really an opportunity for the speaker and the chair of the committee to hear the public support for this bill. So it gauges their interest on pushing this bill forward or not. So the more people that show up on our side is the closer we'll be to passing this bill and convincing them that this is a bill worth passing.
That's how local government is done.
And the thing is, so many people are disconnected, right? So many people don't care about politics, but the ones who do care about politics are the ones who want you to pay forced broker fees.
That's the perfect way to end it. I love that.
Everybody's talking about forced broker fees. Whoa, baby voice. It's a common problem I have.
Me too. Now it's time to get to your questions. I was blown away by how thoughtful they are. Yet again, I can't get to everything. The others I will get to on Snap, but let's jump in. Sugarless Tea says, tax credits to look for, first-time homebuyer credits, or anything to look out for? Like I said, this is a local and state issue first. That's where you should start. But if we are looking on a federal level, we have to start with this quote from Donald Trump.
I will also stop Joe Biden's sinister plan to abolish the suburbs.
According to Trump, Biden has a sinister plan to abolish the suburbs. I would love to even see what that means in action. So I'm like, Joe Biden, go ahead and do that. I would need to know how that looks. Here's what actually is in Joe Biden's proposed plan that would cost $258 billion and needs to get congressional approval to happen. We all know what that means. Dead on arrival. But anyway, it would be a $10,000 tax credit to offset high mortgage rates for first-time home buyers, another $10,000 tax credit to middle-income families to sell their starter homes. So there's that kind of double edge. You need people to sell in order to buy, but you need people to buy in order to sell, tackling both of those. And he also wants state and local governments to change zoning laws to allow more density. So basically making more room for more apartments in more cities. We'll see what actually happens. I would love to see it. You would love to see it. Make it affordable, but it's a big question mark right now. Next, Carter, Grabby, I don't know. What portion of monthly income have Americans paid for housing in the past? Because I feel like it went up and stayed there. So I was just learning all about this. If you put more than 30% of your annual income towards rent and utilities, that is considered being cost burdened by housing. And it turns out 50% of renters in America are considered to be cost burdened. I am one of them, just for the record. To take it one step further, there are 12 million people in America who are considered severely cost burdened in that they're putting 50% of their annual wages towards their rent and utilities. That's outrageous to even think about. And part of that is due to the expiration of pandemic benefits. Think about income assistance. You remember those stimmy checks. Think about eviction moratoriums. All of those things running out made the burden of affording housing much heavier across the country. Last, and I was hoping somebody would ask this. Noelle, I don't know if this is a topic you want to share your own beliefs about. I do. But do you think housing is a human right? Do you see any validity to arguments against housing? Second part of this question, you're right, could be an episode all its own. I believe housing is like the number one fundamental right. You have to have a right to housing and a right to food. Everything, security in your life flows downstem from there. Those two things, no matter what. We used to be able to consider like what our housing situation was able to offer us, where our kids would go to school, how many kids you could have, the safety, what types of cultures you're exposed to, what types of community you want to be a part of. We're losing the ability to have those things factor into the decisions about our housing because it's just so cost inefficient and cost prohibitive, which is so sad to see for millions of Americans. So yes, I do not see an argument against the validity of housing. Please give me one if you have one, but that's not for me, girl. Housing is a human right in this house. And on that note, we're going to be seeing some of the action for ourselves. I will be at City Hall on June 12th to see the hearing on the FAIR Act in the flesh. I'll obviously be back with all my takeaways and what I've learned. Until then, make sure to subscribe to What the Fuck America. See you next time. Peace.